Anyway, so let's get back to the Oklahoma City Free Press. That's how you told me the full official title. So how'd you get involved with that, and like how long have you been there now?
Uh,
Is that your main gig currently?
it's my
So you do a lot of stuff.
it's my full-time job.
Yeah.
I'm now, to jump to the end. I'm a part owner.
Okay.
I am the arts and entertainment editor, and I'm one of only two technical employees. Really, everybody else is kind of like a stable of freelancers, which really is how the majority of publications do it.
Right.
Now.
Okay.
I'm almost positive it was 21 when I started. And I'm racking my brain trying to remember like the exact month. I want to say June maybe of 21, which is a little bit earlier than I thought. Credit to the Chad Whitehead, I guess, really that runs the tower.
Okay. I also that name sounds familiar, but
he coming right out of the pandemic and right out of the lockdowns and everything, before there's been a lot made about a lot of managerial and organizational changes that have been made into the tower and that whole group. And I've got all kinds of thoughts and opinions about that as well. But coming right out of COVID when it was still, a very, predominantly or entirely local operation, Chad and Steven Tyler, who used to be there, and the other people kind of in charge of things, were real adamant about not just saying, "Hey, look, we're going to do a bunch of cool events, come and pay to be a part, of these cool events and whatever." They started making these real strides to just reach out to the community and kind of create some spaces there for the community. So they started just hosting these like music, just like artist networking nights. Nice. Where like nobody was performing or anything, but like, hey, if you're a musical artist or something, just come out, hang out, maybe have some drinks, meet other people. Let's like make this a kind of communal atmosphere again. And they did a couple of those music nights and they were great and desperately needed. And then they said, hey, let's do one for local journalists. Okay. Let's do a just kind of like group community meetup night for writers and journalists. Again, knowing how difficult that whole kind of career was throughout COVID. Right. And that was at the same time that I was really making a big stride to get back into it. So through 2019, 2020, first half of 21, I was technically unemployed. I was kind of running my own business of sorts a little bit. I basically had enough money from all of that to float myself basically through the pandemic, which was really nice. My wife is disabled. My mother's disabled. It required a lot of help during that period. But kind of coming back out of it, I thought, I don't just want to go back to retail. I don't want to go back to the liquor industry, which is where I had been for about 10 years before the pandemic. And thought, I've always done writing in my free time. I've always done it just very freelance. I said, I'm just going to make a go for it. I'm just going to make my bills with writing. I'm not going to give myself an out. I'm just going to start writing full time. And there was a period of time where I was writing for everyone simultaneously. It was the Gazette. I was writing for Non-Doc. I was writing for every single outlet that would have me. And so I went up to this journalism networking thing and was just shaking hands and meeting people. And like I said, I in fact, I didn't even actually approach him. I was talking to another dude and Brett Dickerson walked up to like say bye to that guy because he was like headed out the door and then turned to me and I was like, oh, we didn't have a chance to meet. I'm Brett Fieldcamp. And he was like, oh, hey, I love your work. And seriously, I was like, okay, well, man, can I like send you some samples or something? Maybe we can work together. And he's like, no, seriously, like I read your stuff. You don't have to send me samples or anything. Like, what do you want to do? And so like the next day I emailed him and he came back and was like, we had George Lang writing music and film for us. I don't know if you know George Lang.
That name sounds familiar. But
he's another like kind of local legend in terms of.
I read him. I'm sure I've read his stuff at some point.
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, just beautiful, brilliant writer. But
Yeah,
such a part of music journalism, entertainment journalism, and then also like political editorials and stuff as well. Actually, he's got a great mind for. He had been writing the kind of joint music and film column for OKC Free Press, and when I met Dickerson, George had just stepped away. And so he's like, well, hey, we just lost George Lang writing music and film. Do you have any interest in music and film? And I was like,
one of those perfect opportunity moments.
Exactly. Yeah. But,
awesome.
But it also required me forcing myself to go out and forcing myself to, again, kind of puff up my chest and act confident and meet people and shake random people's hands.
Definitely something that, the pandemic really ruined me in many ways as far as, being active in the community. It was like, it was very tough for me to get back out, and now I'm doing great with it. I don't, it's like, it took a few years.
I think people kind of rediscovered it. The very first thing that I did, the first like real group event or anything, especially indoors, was the first of those like music industry networking events that the Tower did. Okay, it was the first of those. This was like maybe late February or March of 21. Yeah. So like I was 2 or 3 weeks out from being vaccinated.
Yeah, then it's like you felt a lot safer at that point.
I did, but genuinely, and I've always been this kind of person. I've always been able to talk and shake hands and meet random people and everything, but I pulled up, parked, sat in my car for like 15 minutes and almost had a panic attack. Yeah. Thinking like, oh my God, I'm going to be in a room full of people. And it was, it took some time to kind of start feeling comfortable about it again. But that's awesome. That was Free Press. And then, after that, it was really just a matter of me saying like, hey, I'm really into this. He and I clearly worked really well together, and he liked and appreciated my writing. And so then it just became that question of like, what else can I do? Shoot me anything. I will write anything. And I think my first non-entertainment story for Free Press was like the following week or something, and it was about, I think it was the very first thing that I wrote about like the housing market of OKC, which has become one of my beats. That's something that I'm constantly returning to. And trying to kind of, help form this real kind of holistic picture of housing and homelessness and housing advocacy. Which again was not something I ever had any knowledge in or interest of or anything. But I just kind of kept saying, whatever you want, whatever you want, let me take a stab at it.
Definitely, that in particular. I think is a huge issue and something that needs to be talked about more and figured out. You know what I mean? We need to find some solutions with that for sure. But it's interesting that it's like by saying like, you saying, just give me whatever. It's like you start to find the things that you are interested in. It's like, oh, I think I see an issue here. Let me,
That's exactly that is exactly correct. I've learned about specific things. I've learned about how deeply I care about housing advocacy and about advocacy of the homeless, and I've learned so much about. Honestly, just how much I love talking about like visual arts, right? So like something that I have a film column every week and a music column every week now, but like. My favorite thing to write is whenever any of the museums or galleries have big openings. We work really closely with OKC MOA. Every single time that they have a new big exhibit opening.
It's funny that you said that. Well, because I haven't been there in many years. I used to love going there. And I still do. It's
they got great stuff right now, man.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say, because now there's a Ansel Adams exhibit, which I really, really want to go to. And I actually have, I'm sure it was your article, like it's on a tab on my phone that's been up for probably a couple months now.
I've got like 30 tabs open right now in the browser.
Just to remind myself so I don't forget about it, because I have to go to this.
No, honestly, as a photographer, you've got to see it.
Exactly.
Everyone has seen Ansel Adams' work, and every photographer knows it. There's not really ever been an Ansel Adams exhibition like this before. It tells his story.
Mm-hmm.
Like it starts with some of his very first photographs he took when he was 14
Oh
years
wow,
old,
cool.
and tells the kind of unfolding story of how he like learned the technology and developed
Mm-hmm.
his style over time. And
Yeah.
for anybody, I
Yeah.
told Dylan Johnson the same
Yeah.
thing, right? He's one of the best photographers in the state.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you got to go see this Ansel Adams thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for sure. Like I said, but it just but I might not have even known about it because I used to like keep up with just going to their website and
Yeah.
seeing, every now and then to see what's going on. But I might not have even known about it if you hadn't put that article out,
Yeah.
So it's like it definitely. I'm a huge follower of OKC Free Press, and I love all the stuff you guys do.
I mean, that's why we do
Yeah,
those
just
things.
to kind
I mean,
of
it's not.
get the word out about
Yeah.
what's going on. Um, so we kind of covered a lot of most of my specific questions about the publications already, which is great. Um, what do you know? Like, what can you tell us? How long has the publication been around? Do you know, like, kind of the history of it
Free Press.
before you got there?
I want to say, I'm almost positive that maybe November-ish of this year, I think will be 10 years.
Okay, cool.
So I talk about the other Brett.
Mm-hmm.
So it's this in joke. We each call one another the other Brett, and like we take emails all the time from people that are addressed to the Bretts.
Right. You just,
He's Brett Dickerson.
Mm-hmm.
He has had many lives and many careers. He was like a pastor or a minister for a long time. Then he was a public school teacher.
Mm-hmm.
He taught social studies and he taught alternative education. Retired as a public school teacher. Basically, he's the kind of guy that just wants to stay busy.
Yeah.
So like in his retirement,
Yeah.
he started writing and like became a journalist.
Oh, okay.
I definitely think that maybe at first he was maybe like writing some education type stuff, right? There was just a lot going on that a lot of people weren't writing about. And he's got a great head for recognizing things that need to be said that people aren't covering.
I mean, that's perfect for the head of this kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah, it's what you want. So I mean, he originally started the Oklahoma City Free Press as like a one-man operation that he was just kind of doing on his own.
Like a website on the
and it kind of grew from there. It grew really slowly. Like he started kind of making a name for himself, kind of as himself, just like showing up to City Hall, covering stuff, running around town taking photos and everything. And it wasn't for a while before he started to really kind of buckle down and say, okay, this is going to be a regular thing. This is going to have a schedule. This is like I'm going to almost force the city to accept this as a very legitimate source of city news. And then kind of after that was established a bit better, he started kind of branching out and bringing other writers on. So I want to say that, I've been there now since 21, but I'm pretty sure that it's been for about 10 years now.
That's awesome.
And it's really, really started fully exploding about in the past 2 years, that the whole city is really becoming aware of it. It's becoming a destination for people.
For sure. That's awesome.